Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you've spent literally any time on developer subreddits or tech Twitter lately, you'd probably think the robot apocalypse is already here and we're all about to be out of a job. If you are a junior developer, or honestly anyone just trying to navigate this incredibly fast-paced tech landscape, I want to act as your mentor today. We are going to dive headfirst into the absolute biggest anxiety facing early career engineers right now. It's a topic that is keeping a lot of really smart people up at night, but by the end of this, I promise you're going to see your career path in a completely different light.
So let's just tackle this elephant in the room right now. Is AI going to replace me? Look, I want to completely validate the intense fear you might be feeling about automation in the tech industry. It is a totally normal reaction when you open up your laptop and see massive language models doing in seconds what used to take you hours or even days to draft. But to really understand what's happening here, to separate the hype from the actual reality of your day-to-day job, we need to lean on some serious, battle-tested industry experience.
We've got to start by looking at the reality laid out by our source for this explainer. They're a software engineer with 13 years of individual contributor experience. And right out of the gate, they make a pretty blunt admission. AI is literally writing very good code. They aren't in denial about this, and you know what? Neither should we be. If you ask an AI tool to generate a function, it's going to give you highly capable functioning output. It's fast, it's efficient, and yeah, it works.
But hold on, because here is exactly where we begin to dismantle the myth that you are suddenly obsolete. There is a massive, and I mean massive difference between code that simply functions, that raw AI-generated good code, and code that is optimized and actually meets your team's specific standards. Is that AI code perfectly optimized for your weird edge cases? Is it perfectly following the unique architectural standards your company has spent years, maybe decades setting up? Generally speaking, no way. Expecting a simple prompt to automatically bridge that gap without a human expert in the loop is a very, very risky game. Context is absolutely everything here. Think about this. Our veteran source has actually coded through multiple, completely distinct eras of technology. 13 years ago, they were coding when there were practically zero resources available to easily reference. Then we moved into the era of being highly dependent on forums, right? Good old Stack Overflow. And now, today, they're coding in the era of AI assistants. What this whole journey proves is that while the tools evolve, from thick textbooks to internet forums to advanced language models, the core requirement of the engineer absolutely does not. The tools just get faster. Let's look at a real-world disaster pulled straight from our source's actual team. So a group of junior developers were trying to fix a UI click propagation issue. Basically, a click was bubbling up to a parent element and completely breaking the user experience. Classic bug. But instead of debugging the core issue with foundational programming knowledge, they spent hours, literally hours, blindly asking the AI to fix it, just throwing slightly different prompts at the wall to see what would stick. And the result? They completely failed to resolve the broken user experience. So how did this actually get solved? Well, a senior developer stepped in, took one look at the code, and fixed it almost instantly. Just contrast those hours of blind prompting with a fix that literally took seconds. Why? Because the issue was super straightforward to them. They just explicitly instructed the AI that it needed to handle event bubbling properly. Because the senior dev had the foundational conceptual vocabulary, they knew the specific term, event bubbling, they could actually guide the AI to the exact right output. The juniors completely lacked the concept, so they couldn't even write the right prompt.
And we see the exact same trap in a second example from our source. The veteran developer asked the colleague to implement a new feature. Thanks to our friend AI, the junior developer generated a working solution in just a few hours and submitted a pull request. Awesome, right? Well, actually, scratch that. Not exactly. The underlying code structure was incredibly clumsy, and the directory layout was completely unreadable. It was a mess. They prioritized quick AI-generated output over actual architectural readability. So yeah, the code technically worked, but the veteran developer still had to step in, give step-by-step implementation instructions, and totally re-implement the feature with a proper directory structure anyway. Why does this happen? Because of a vital definition of what your job actually is. Listen closely. Your job is not just typing out implementations. It's creating the right legacy so that upcoming engineers can adopt and contribute to the code base. And AI doesn't care about the poor humans who have to read its code tomorrow, but you have to. It really all boils down to this core revelation from our source. AI has very limited knowledge if your knowledge is limited. It's like a mirror. An AI tool is entirely constrained by the conceptual strength of its pilot. If you don't have a strong underlying concept around the technology and the specific business logic you're working in, the AI cannot magically invent that context for you. It's just going to reflect your own level of understanding right back at you. So it really comes down to a choice in how you view your entire career. Your job is only at risk if you view yourself purely as a typist, just someone trying to push out working lines of text as fast as humanly possible. If that's your end goal, then yes, automation is a real threat. But your career is totally secure if you have a strong base understanding of the technology, the implementation base, and the business logic. You aren't competing with the AI, you're managing it. And to really emphasize why your foundational knowledge matters so much more than mere code generation, our source reveals a fascinating reality about what your job actually entails day to day. It comes down to one absolutely crucial, perhaps even surprising metric: 10%. Let's look at what that actually means for us. This is the 10% rule. A staggering 90% of your value as a developer comes from brainstorming and architecting the right solutions. Only 10% of your actual job is physically typing out the code. AI tools right now, they are hyper-focused on automating that tiny 10% slice. They simply cannot do the 90% on their own.
That massive 90% slice, that is where you need to focus your energy to stay relevant in the market. As a junior developer, your goal shouldn't be to try and out-type the machine. You'll lose. Your goal is brainstorming the correct architecture. Your goal is designing extensible solutions for future requirements that the AI doesn't even know exist yet. You need to be building resilient systems that are prepared for the future rather than just solving today's basic prompts.
So, let's get practical. Here are your actionable marching orders to future-proof your career and successfully transition from a simple code typist into a true software architect. Step 1. Develop strong base concepts. Study the fundamentals so you know terms like event bubbling inside and out. Step 2. Use those deep concepts to guide the AI tool effectively. And Step 3. Always architect a readable legacy for the humans who are going to have to maintain your code.
I want to leave you with a provocative thought to really challenge yourself with the next time you sit down to code, especially if you feel that wave of automation anxiety creeping in. Are you simply letting an AI generate text and focusing only on the raw output, or are you truly understanding the legacy and the system you are building? Focus your energy on that crucial 90%. Master your fundamentals, and I promise you will never have to fear the 10%. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep building.